The Ash, Luttsy and Susie Snackbox.
There's a lot of chatter behind me. What's going on, buddy?
We're doing brouhaha.
I said burn!
Just chatting away.
It's cold in here.
Hey, you guys know we're on air.
Be some content in the atmosphere. Here we go.
By all means, disrupt the radio.
Loud chatter behind me.
Yeah, what are you going to do, Alicia?
Sorry, we just realised we had the same story
Oh, you
as we came in.
Oh, you should have done it and we picked the best selling line, you know.
It's a good point. You could have just done it.
Oh, well.
Well,
Right.
that's never happened before, eh?
That's why we're always supposed to check, but it's
Well,
fine.
it's Alicia versus Nick this morning. Alicia will go first. 5 seconds. Starts now.
Disney death drama dispute divides. Oh, that was a long 5 seconds.
And you filled it.
Is that the one you both had, or did you have to drop yours?
Oh.
I reckon you had to drop yours.
That was all D's. That was a, what do you call that?
Alliteration.
Tongue twister.
Yeah.
All right, Nick.
So Nick's had 5 seconds to think of something.
Yeah.
This will be good.
You ready?
Yep. Irish hitchhiker responsible for the biggest band in the world.
Oh, I can't lie. That's
Biggest band.
Band.
Rock band.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's good, hey?
I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'm going
a
that
very
too.
good tease.
Did you just do that then?
Did you just change your story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Oh my
Well, so
god.
you both had agreed on the Disney one.
Yeah, I literally showed.
On the Disney deep dive.
I just checked in with Alicia. I had the same story. It went, no, you had it first. I've got to change.
Wow. Well, I think unanimously Nick is the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be-
You should be on the
We'll
radio,
chat to you in the
Nick.
podcast.
You've got some good ideas and good topics.
If you guys know any like content directors around here that we could pitch to, that'd be awesome. But in the meantime, in lieu of that, an Irish hitchhiker believes that he may be responsible for the creation of the Foo Fighters.
Ah.
Now, this goes back to a story that Dave Grohl once told on stage, that post the death of Kurt Cobain, he was driving around Ireland and he didn't quite know what to do with his career. He was a bit lost. And he saw a man, just a hitchhiker on the side of the road, wearing a Nirvana t-shirt. He saw Kurt Cobain's eyes looking back at him. Now, at the same time, years and years later, this same Irish
Well, how could it be
hitchhiker...
at the same time?
Well,
Jeez,
sorry, years and years later,
Yes.
a story has popped up of this young bloke sitting around a table going, I saw a car come up to me, and there was Dave Grohl in the back. I was wearing my Nirvana t-shirt. He took one look at me and drove off. And I swear, to this day, and of course this just sounds like your classic sort of yarn, to this day, I swear it was Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl has then got on stage weeks and weeks ago and confirmed the story. That he saw this guy and went, you know what? I've got to do something with my music career. Later on, the Foo Fighters were formed.
So Cobain looking at him off the T-shirt was
Yep.
his sign to
That was his sign.
get off your ass and
Yeah.
get going again.
And one of the great sort of just hitchhiking yarns that no one would ever believe, as you tell around a campfire millions of times,
That's a
was
cool
actually
story.
confirmed.
Jeez,
That's a cool story.
that is really good.
But, yeah.
I've got another Foo Fighter to add to that
Please.
story.
Go on.
We've got time. So on the album cover of one of the album covers, Michael Klim's on it, right?
It's true.
With a Foo Fighter tattoo. I found
Yes.
out how that came about. Apparently, Michael Klim, the swimmer, had bought an album, a CD, and it came with a fake tattoo, or, you know, like a stick-on tattoo.
Yeah, temporary tat.
And he put it on and he was training at a training camp and someone saw a photo of it. The photo got sent somewhere in the media and someone from the Foo Fighters saw it and contacted Michael Klim's manager, who was my manager, and said, can we use that photo for the cover?
Oh, so he
awesome.
didn't do a different photo shoot.
No, it
They
was-
just used the existing
They
photo.
used the existing photo and it's him. He's at a training camp, so it's unposed. He's at the side of the pool, like I think his hands are on his goggles, maybe he's no
Yeah.
shirt, obviously, and just on his muscly deltoid,
Yep.
it's got the Foo Fighters, the free tattoo
The
he
emblem.
got.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they plucked it, and
It's pretty cool.
Foo Fighters are really good, aren't they?
Solid stuff.
Yes.
I too have gone to Ireland to look at my career options over the years. And there's a spot in Dingle where I look out over Dingle Peninsula on the rocks and look. I'm just trying to work out. I mean, at one stage, did I look up in the clouds and see Ash's face?
The Ash, Luttsy and Susie Snackbox.
Our guest on the phone right now is a guy called Riley Batt. Now, there is a documentary you can watch, Beyond the Dream, Forged in Steel, on a documentary for free right now on 9 Now. Riley, now, you will not remember this, Riley. Good morning to you, by the way.
Good morning. What am I not remembering?
Well, I became part of like the media. I was a media liaison for the the Athens Paralympic team in 2004. And one of the first days, my job, they go, you got to go out and watch the wheelchair rugby. Now, there's a good story. There's this kid, this 15-year-old called Riley Batt, and he's playing. I think you were playing New Zealand. I think he got beaten that day against New Zealand. And I thought, oh, holy crap! There's a 15-year-old kid playing wheelchair rugby, and you were a bit of a story because you were one of the youngest players on what, from memory, was a pretty young team back then. And here you are now, 5 Paralympics later, 2 gold medals. I think you won a silver, and you're vying for more gold in Paris, mate. Like it blows my mind that I'm now talking to a guy in his mid-30s.
That's crazy, mate. Yeah, 15 years old, going to my first Paralympic Games in Athens, and here I am tomorrow, just about to jump on the plane to my 6th Paralympic Games in Paris. The sport's definitely changed. Over those 2 decades, and I think we've changed probably a little bit too.
How has it changed? Has it got rougher? Is that possible?
It probably has. Well, look, you look at sports; they all get more elite, right? You find ways to get faster, stronger, and all those things. And wheelchair rugby, I think back then, like for me, for instance, it probably got through more on natural talent. And over the last, let's say, just over a decade, you've had to train every day. You've had to be, you had to have professional staff members around you to, strength and conditioning coaches to make sure you're getting the most out of your training. It's all about recovery. It's about nutrition. It's all those things. A lot of technologies come into our wheelchairs to make them faster and stronger. And the whole sport's just a lot more professional, where if you don't train every day and take it as a full-on serious job, you won't be in the top 15 team in the world. Definitely changed, and it's changed for the better, in my opinion.
I bet you one thing that hasn't changed is that sound of, and you get it in rugby league, rugby union. It's something that's renowned with this sport, is that noise that is made when 2 people collide together. It's just, I don't know, there's a sweetness about that noise, but there's also something really scary about it as well. And you definitely get that in wheelchair rugby. I covered it at the Sydney Olympics. I remember, and the sound of those wheelchairs, then they come together in a contest for possession. It's so ferocious. I can't imagine how scary that would have actually been as a 15-year-old out there, because it gets willing out there on the rugby field for you guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, after 22 years now playing the sport, you're giving me a little bit of PTSD with it. So it's, mate, here I am, 35 years old now. And look, the body's falling apart. I'm happy to admit that. And you'll see that on the documentary if you check it out, Forged in Steel. The body's on its last legs, and it's struggling. Like it was training last night down in Brisbane, and I'm so sore this morning, and I've just got to go to the gym now and then fly out tomorrow. And it's just like, how long can this body hold out? But like today, it's really good feeling like today's the last training session before you go to Paris, and you've done all the hard work, and you've gone through all the troughs, and now it's just time to go represent your country at a Paralympic Games. And if that doesn't get you up and about, and if that doesn't, push away all those pains and those little aches and groans, well, I don't know what will.
What are your chances over there? How are you ranked?
Oh, well, we've got to try to do Australia proud, right? You look at our Olympians and how bloody well they did, and how proud we are to be Australian after watching them. Well, we've got to back up as well, and we've got to do the exact same thing. So, look, we're number 1 team in the world at the moment, but look, rank's just a number. It can all change when you get there, and we've got to, we've been in this position before where we've been number 1 in the world going to a Paralympic Games and haven't done the best. So, we're probably one of the favourites, but let's just get there. Let's just start playing games and ticking these wins off. And I'd hope we can definitely get on a podium, but of course, the goal is to win a gold medal. And as cliche as it sounds, we've got to take one game at a time. And there is some cracking teams out there. There's probably 7 of the 8. 7 of the 8 teams out there could win a gold medal, and I can guarantee every game will be an absolute nail biter. So
I think
you now know why I have to shave my head because
It looks mean, Riley. You look
Exactly.
You look tough, mate. It looks good.
Well, you've had a fifth, a fourth, I think, a silver and 2 golds in your 5 Paralympics. Pretty amazing. Heading towards the 6th, which is incredible. But it's a good documentary to watch, mate, because as we said with the Olympics, get to know players before you watch them compete. Gives you extra interest, like Chris Bond, yourself. I know James McQuillan's featured in this, and also Shea Graham. So you get to know the players, and then when you watch the guys compete in Paris, you can really cheer them on with a bit of extra vigour, mate. So good luck. And that documentary, Beyond the Dream, Forged in Steel, it's available right now for free on 9 Now. And good luck in Paris, mate. Go get them.
Thanks, legends. We'll do our best.
The Ash, Luttsy and Susie Snackbox.
I saw this article in the paper about this deli over in America. To teach his customers a lesson, he put up a sign saying, small coffee, $5. Small coffee, please, $3. Hello. 1 small coffee, please, $1.75.
It's cheap coffee.
Oh, the point is, if you use your manners, he'll give it to you cheaper. And I'm really, really big on manners as well, except when I get really stressed, I tend to leave out, I don't know if you've noticed, I tend to leave out a lot of words in my sentences. My kids have really been getting stuck into me about this lately. Like Alex can tell when I'm irritable because I won't say full sentences. I'll just start saying like...
As an example.
Well, the example I'm going to give is actually, this reminded me, last Christmas Eve.
Alex, fridge door.
Yes, like that.
Yeah, okay.
For example. Yeah. But I was trying to think of another one, but I couldn't. So last Christmas Eve, we were at Indooroopilly Shopping Town. I remember it was like busy. We were doing our last lot of Christmas shopping, and I was really irritable because I hate crowds. I hate Christmas shopping.
Really?
I don't even really like Christmas that much.
Really? Oh, that'll break my mother's heart. It's December in the O'Neill mansion.
Hang on. But didn't you... yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And so my mind's gone so many different ways now. Okay, so basically we're about to leave and I really wanted to get a Cine Bun. Like, do you remember those? Do you know Cine Buns? Like, I remember when I first saw them, I was in America on a swimming
What are
trip.
they? I do know them.
Yeah,
They're
like
basically
a scroll.
And they taste like cinnamon and they've got icing on top of it and they're
Yep.
They're still a big
beautiful.
thing, aren't they? Like,
They're really big in Australia now, but I
Yeah.
remember when there were so many ideas I could have brought from America, I reckon.
yeah,
You sort of untwirl them and you can eat them.
yeah.
And I really, really wanted to get one. There was a Cine Bun shop, like a standalone shop in Indooroopilly Shopping
People
Town.
line up for them, don't they?
Yeah.
Am I making
yeah.
that up, or
yeah,
is
no,
it
they're
a
pretty
thing?
busy. And I really wanted,
Around Christmas specifically, or is
No,
there?
they're there all the time.
Okay.
They're all the time. But I really wanted one, and there was all these different types and orders, and I wasn't sure what to order and that sort of thing. And so the kids were explaining that I wanted just 2 Cine Buns, like just ask for a Cine Bun. But I remember it was Christmas Eve, and I walked up to the lady and just went, Cine Bun, 2.
Cine Bun, 2.
And I really remember it because my kids still pay me out about it. And Alex, because they both work in retail with public, and so they are really anti me when I'm rude to shopkeepers and things. Not on purpose, but occasionally.
Was the server French or something? Were you trying to break it down
No, I was just...
in a language sense? Or
No, I just left out my words because
Yeah.
I was irritable and I wasn't sure what to buy.
So under this deli owner's regime, you'd be paying extra for your Cine Bun.
I would be, yes, I'd be paying extra. But Alex went up to the lady. She was probably about 16. She goes, "No, what my mum is actually asking for? Can she please have 2
Good, Alex.
Cine Buns?" Yeah.
So was
I'm
it
big on that in
Server
my house
16 or was
as well.
Alex 16? Sorry.
Well, the server would have been about 16. And Alex would have
So
been
you,
about
you
20.
said to a kid, cinema.
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm really into manners, but when I get irritable, I just leave off everything. Like I remember one other time, I was actually overseas at a hotel and I went to check into the hotel. And I remember walking up to when you walk up to the reception, but I just went, O'Neill.
O'Neill.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do that? I don't know.
Slap down your credit card and your license.
And I remember him saying to me, actually, "Oh, hello. How are you?"
That's excellent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's actually excellent.
Yeah, and you don't really do it on purpose, but I think it's a good reminder when I saw
That's
this.
a nice little burn, that one, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
hello, how are you?
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you today?
I
Yes,
love
it
that.
is warm outside, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think this was a really good reminder to me that when you go to ask for something, that's a person there, and to make a full sentence and
Yeah, it's
say
not a vending
please
machine.
And thank you.
and thank you. Yeah. And to interact with them as a person, not as a machine.
Yeah.
So that's the
Or
lesson.
pay extra.
And you don't want
Or
to pay
pay
extra
extra
either, do
as a
you?
consequence.
No, you don't want to pay extra either.
It's
Yeah.
good you're learning.
Thank you. It's taken a while.
The Ash, Luttsy and Susie Snackbox.
I'm so excited. We've got Ariane Titmus in the room.
Yeah.
I don't have forgotten how many medals you've won. You won like trillions of medals. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, I want to say I loved watching you swim. It's the most I've been into swimming for ages. The fact that you backed up the 400 freestyle, nuts, amazing. And then all the other things on top of it. How are you feeling?
First sleep in the bed last night. I feel pretty happy to be home, to be honest. I'm so tired. I've just been on like the biggest whirlwind. Stayed in Melbourne for the footy on the weekend.
I love that.
Yeah, love it. And then came back yesterday to Brizzy.
So how long ago was it that you left Brisbane pre-Olympics?
I think it has to be nearly 10 weeks.
What?
Yeah, so we were away, I think, all up for the Olympic campaign, just over 8 weeks. And then I obviously stayed, maybe it's about 9 weeks. 9 weeks I was away.
That's a stint.
Yeah.
God. How was it staying with the team for so long before the Olympics? Like, was it 5 weeks with the team?
Yeah, it was pretty good, to be honest, because we just kind of stayed in our coaching groups and they made it pretty easy. Like, it didn't really feel like training camp as such. It just kind of felt like normal, and then they kept the meetings and that thing to a minimal. But then once we kind of got closer to competition, that's when it started to feel like very real.
When did the largest block of your training occur? Is it this year? Like, have you worked harder this year than you have, like, sort of this time last year, or how long has the really intense training block gone for?
I think it's the same every year. Like, you have the same structure, but I think the last 12 months there's just more importance on getting everything right, because if you're not prioritising your training in the year out from the Olympics, you don't want to leave anything to chance. So I think there was more sessions where if I wasn't hitting my times mentally, you start to question yourself and your confidence doesn't build. So it's more about trying to do everything right in the last 12 months. But in terms of the training schedule and the Ks and everything, it's pretty much the same every year, I guess. Yeah.
What's the main thing you say to yourself in your head during a hard set?
I don't know. I actually kind of love it. I'm so weird.
I know. I know you are. That's why I'm curious to know what goes on in that head of yours. You love training.
Yeah,
hey?
I just see how much I can get out of myself, and I think I definitely some of those really tough sessions. You're in a battle with yourself mentally for sure, but it's about that, like, pushing past that point. I think you can get past the pain point where it almost goes on to the other side where it kind of feels good again. It's hard to describe,
Really?
But yeah.
Wow, that's such an interesting insight.
And is that because that feeling, whatever that is, and I think you don't have to be an Olympic champion to know, like, that you want to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I go for a run and I'm running fast, it's like I want to stop. Or if I'm swimming and it's like in me, I want to stop. And
But it's this level of satisfaction.
Quite often I do, yeah. But you, like, on a daily basis, are you pushing through that and finding some other level of enjoyment that exists beyond the pain and the willingness to stop?
You definitely can't do it every day.
Right.
But it's certain points and certain sessions where you want to really get something out of it, or the really tough ones. Like, sometimes we've got like sessions that are 5 kilometres of hard work and there might be 100 easy in there. And so it's those sessions that you're trying to really grind and get the best out of yourself.
It's like, I mean, with your coach, like the way you must be so tough in that way, because he can extract things from you that other swimmers you probably wouldn't do, right? Like, he can say to you, "Come on, that time was the 4th fastest in the world this year. You're
better than that."
Oh, yeah, he'll say that, and you respond to that, whereas other athletes could fall in a heap if you did that. So that's an interesting dynamic to know how he can push the buttons he can push with you, or more importantly, the ones he can't push.
Yeah, it's like a bit of reverse psychology. I think maybe he's mellowed with me a little bit as I've gotten older. I think when I was a baby, I'd just do everything he said, and he'd just, like, stamp me down, and I'd just be like, okay. But now I think it's more of a collaborative approach, and I can provide him with some knowledge and vice versa. But he's still pretty tough. Like, if I get a good job, I've done a great job. So, but
from him.
Yeah, from him. But
Okay.
it's funny, like, now it's all done and dusted. Like, Dean's such a personality beyond swimming coaching that when he's coaching me at the pool, yeah, he has that persona, that tough coach, and he's very hard on me. But as soon as the session's done, he is just totally himself with me, and we joke and we have fun and laugh. So it's a different dynamic.
Were you happy with his performance that he put on poolside? I'm being serious. Like in comparison to what we've seen him going like berserk in
I
Tokyo.
think he's mellowing as well.
Do you think that he held a little back, or do you think?
Well, he doesn't like that people talk about it because, I mean, Susie, you would know, like, that's just the way he is. Like, he even said to me, for my 800 final, he said to me, I think I'm going to watch it on TV and not out in the crowd.
Really?
I said, why? He said, because I don't want them to see me. He's like, because he can't help it. And I was like, no, like, this is my last race at these Olympics. I was like, can you watch it live? So then he went and tried to find a little hidey place. But I guess that's just totally him. But you know what the funniest thing was? I watched the replay back with the 400 and I saw where he was standing. And I was like, oh my gosh. And the people next to him were Summer McIntosh's parents.
Oh, were they? One of your competitors in the race?
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, what were you saying? He goes, no, they weren't. And I was like,
You're right though. He doesn't want the attention, does he? That's how he is. I've been to some of your training sessions, and he's kind of like that on the pool deck. I want to talk to you about your 400 free that you defended the title over in Paris. When you walked out behind the block, you put your clothes in a basket or whatever.
Oh, yeah, what about that?
You put your clothes accidentally in Katie Ledecky.
Yeah, accidentally in inverted commas.
Your biggest competition, obviously, has won that event before.
yeah, she won it in Rio.
Yeah, before, and you put it in her basket. So what happened?
Well, I want to put it. It was totally an accident. I was, when you're just waiting, you come out and you're in your zone, and you're just, not really thinking about anything, and it sounds really bad, but like I just looked at like that lane 4 chair and thought that was the spare one, and just
I love it.
Because usually in lane 4.
That'll be for me.
And I didn't even see that like lane 5 was free next to me, and then I was put my stuff in the box, and she just comes over and goes, Annie, that's my lane. And I was like, I felt so bad because like I didn't want to psych her out or anything. And also, if we had a swum in the wrong lanes, we both would have got DQ'd. So that just would have been a disaster. Yeah. So totally not on purpose. And then the funny thing was, we went to the medal ceremony room and we were joking heaps about it. She's like,
you do talk to her?
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Yeah, right,
yeah. And she was like, it's okay, I get it. She goes, we're both pretty used to lane 4.
Oh God! And you didn't look nervous at all before your races. Were you not nervous?
Nah, I was more nervous, honestly, like the 2-3 days prior. I was more nervous about, I went off Instagram and everything because everything was just starting to get quite a lot, and I was like, this is just not good for me. I just went off it earlier than I thought I would.
Like positive messages? Like of support?
Yeah, but too much positive can like have the opposite effect. Because think about every time someone says to you, can't wait to see you win, and then you actually start to realise, oh my God, what if I don't win? So I was just like, I don't want to see any of it, and I was feeling quite nervous then. But then once I got into racing and I went out for the heat, I was like, I'm fine. Like, this is going to be great. And then I was I just loved it. Like the walking out to the crowd, like looking up, you could just see people into the sky. Like you have to embrace it and lap it up.
Good atmosphere. Was it a great atmosphere?
Oh, it was unreal. I think, what was it, 17,000? And it was packed every session. I remember my first 400, the heat, they were cheering at like the 250 mark in the 400 heat. I was thinking, why are they cheering? Like, what's going on? But they were just loving it. So,
really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And you can actually hear that. You can draw on that as you're
swimming. In an enclosed stadium like that where it was packed, you could definitely hear it.
Do you reckon the Americans, the Americans are, I think this is great. I spoke to your old man about this. Like, I think like swimming's our number one Olympic sport, right? Like most popular for viewers and everything like that.
Most successful too.
And most successful, obviously. Like to give that the biggest possible, particularly for Brisbane 2032, the biggest possible crowd. Like as in. We had our Olympic trials at Chandler. Yeah. Like the Americans had it in Indianapolis in an NFL stadium with I don't know how many. They were getting record crowds over 20,000 every night. LA's at SoFi Stadium, which is
38,000 for the same.
38,000?
Insane.
Even Indianapolis, I think Gretchen Walsh broke a world record. That noise that's watching on YouTube is like more than I've heard at any sport, let alone any swimming before. Like, and I said to your dad, like when he came in for my Olympic podcast, I was like, man, Suncorp Stadium.
Suncorp.
I know.
Like, it's
Suncorp.
If they can make it work for swimming, and your dad's like, it's got to be warm-up pools, and I get that.
But they can do that.
Yeah, cool. That's about the same. Suncorp's about the same size as La Defense where we had the swimming in Paris. They basically just like cut the stadium in half and have the warm-up out the back and the stadium out the front. So they could do that, or they can just build a great pool.
Or they could, or they could do that as well.
Well, it'll be a bit cold at Suncorp because the Brisbane Olympics will be around now.
Yeah.
So, well, they might want an indoor pool to get good performance.
Okay. I'm just saying, I think that we should have the biggest crowd because then people in Brisbane can actually go watch it.
Yeah.
It'll be the number one
kids
ticket
can watch it
as well. Now,
if you have it at a small arena, then it's only corporates and that will end up getting there anyway. That's what I think.
Now, what do you do now? Like, do you take a break for like an extended period? I guess, is that a difficulty? You know, Suze knows better than anyone. I mean, like, how long can you stay out of the pool before you start?
Well, I think when you're younger, you think breaks are bad things, and then when you get older, you realise breaks are the best things. I've swum my best coming off a big break, so I've got 4 years. I'm going to take as long as I need. I mean, obviously physically I need a rest, but I think more than anything, mentally I just need to switch off. So I'll keep fit, definitely. I'm a very routine person, so I'll stay in the gym and keep
Pilates and stuff, or what do you do?
Yeah, well, I want to get more into running. I'll probably still go for a float every now and then in the water, but I just want to do a bit of me time, stay away from that high pressure environment. And I've allowed myself 12 months if I need it, but just basically when I feel like the hunger's built back up and I want to go back, I'll go back.
And speaking of building up, and this is just purely from an aesthetic point of view, having followed your career as many of us has, from Tokyo to now, it looks aesthetically, at least, that you've put on so much strength and muscle. Like, was that something that you said, I need more strength, or how did that come about, where physically you've been able to build your body up so much?
It was actually off the back of my break from Tokyo. I came back and my swimming was so light and easy, but the strength work I was doing was really challenging, and I just put muscle on so quickly. I think I put on between 3 and 4 kilos of muscle in the first 6 months I was back in training, which is crazy. But I stripped a little bit off. I probably put on a bit too much, but I definitely think I found that perfect power to weight ratio. I just feel like in Paris, my body comp and my strength was just perfect. I had so much more strength than what I did in Tokyo, but I felt like I didn't look like the Hulk.
No, but you look strong, just physically strong.
Yeah, so I was proud of that actually.
Yeah. I think swimmers have got a lot more muscly than they used to be when I swam. For example, Katie Ledecky, who you compete against.
Yeah.
I mean, she does look like the Hulk. She does look in a good way.
Yeah.
She does look muscly.
Yeah,
really
a lot of the...
She's not green. We're not saying that.
She's very muscly for a distance swimmer.
Yeah, a lot of the distance swimmers now don't look like distance swimmers.
No.
Yeah.
I hope she didn't hear that. I mean, it was a compliment.
No, I get it, because it wasn't something like if you were swimming now, so it's like 20 years ago, there wasn't as much emphasis on the physical strength.
No, and not even our gym programs were like what you guys do now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more science background.
And one other thing, just because you're so structured, so disciplined, like all swimmers are just like incredible athletes, incredible athletes. But what's been the one treat? Like to have led such a disciplined life and get to the top of the tree, not once but a couple of times, and one of our greatest Olympians now. Like, when you do something special like that, what's the treat that you give yourself?
Just a pack a day.
Well, what is it? The bakery, the Cinnabons?
No,
what
honestly,
is it?
I live a pretty well-balanced life, I think, but I hadn't had a drink since October, so it was very nice to just, when I got home, or even like after racing, we were, had a good time, but getting home and I was in Melbourne and I was open the menu and I'd say, okay, where's the drinks menu? And I'd have a glass of wine with dinner. That was very nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What was your first drink you had after when you finished swimming? Was it a cocktail?
Susie drinks a bit.
I had a glass of champagne. I went out to lunch with my family the day after I finished racing, and I had a glass. That was my first drink, a glass of champagne.
That's so cool.
And you've brought in a magazine with yourself.
I have not. This was here.
What is this?
We can put it up on the wall next to a Pat Carrigan poster if you want.
Harvey Norman. Yeah, definitely.
It is a sponsor, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Well done. It's so good to see you in person. You swam incredible.
Bravo.
Well done.
Another round of applause.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
There you go.
Don't be
Ariane
stranger.
Titmus.
The Ash, Luttsy and Susie Snackbox.